All right, people, I'm back again. I was, med- I was in, I was meditating, and fiery trial came to my mind, and ride and access came to my mind. I was looking for those scriptures. It's weird that they're both in the same spot. First Peter chapter 4. For as much then as Christ hath suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. For he that suffered in the flesh hath ceased from sin, that he no longer shall live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of God. For the time past of our life, many suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries, wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of rioting, speaking evil of you. Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead? For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to God in the spirit. But the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man hath received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God. If any man minister, let him do it as the ability which God giveth, that God in all things may be glorified through Jesus Christ, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, and as much as you are partakers of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. As you be reproached for the name of Christ, happy are ye, for the Spirit of glory and of God resteth upon you. On that part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in other men's matters. Yet if any man suffer as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God on this behalf. The word Christian is not written too much in the Bible. But this is Peter saying, if you any man suffer as a Christian. So you start following after Christ, right? You start following after Christ, and then all these warnings in here. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is trying you. Wherein they think it strange that you may run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. You know, God's got to distance you from people. But you got to understand what's being said here. I'm going to break it down for you. I posted it on Facebook yesterday. Wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. To the same excess and riot. Think about it. It's not that you have changed a lot. You changed how you do things. Why? Because the spirit that dwells in you. He said, even in wine and in excess. Excess. You see, when you hang with people, you tend to do excessiveness. You tend to have an excessive behavior. And then all the lust and all these things come in. They find it strange that you no longer run with them. I'm going to give you an example. I'm just use myself as an example. That's the only person I can use. I can't use your testimony. I can use my own. You see, when God first came to me, he took a lot of things from me, drinking, everything. Because before that, I was going out the streets, drinking and driving, doing marijuana, all these things. I was doing things I shouldn't. What was I doing what I should? In excess. Going out, hanging with people. And then when he took these things from me, those same people looked at me like something was wrong with me. Right? So, eventually years passed. I got high-minded. I started back drinking again. I did. I fell back into that same crowd. I did. Then I go through another eye opener. I started drinking again. But I started figuring out I don't have to drink out there with them. I don't have to call a bunch of friends over and have a party. I don't have to do that. I can just chill and enjoy myself. It's like you got different stages in your life as a Christian. You understand? The thing why they find it strange, they like, how can you do the same thing that we do? No, I'm not doing the same thing that you do. You out there in the world doing it. I'm not doing it to the same excess and rioting as I used to. I don't feel the need to have to go to clubs and things of such matter anymore. It is excessive. You understand? But they're not going to understand it because they don't understand God. So they're going to look at you as a stranger because you distance yourself from them. Does that mean you're not going to assist and help people? But the Bible tells you come out from among them. You understand? Be not equally yoked with non-believers. And the thing is, that's a broad term. Most people consider non-believers are people who just openly profess that they don't love God. How people act and walk and talk shows if they are followers of Christ. Whether their mouth says they believe in God, whether their mouth says they follow after Christ, their actions prove what their mouth don't say. Do you understand? Walk as children of light. You understand? You know, I had a dream years ago that it was like everybody's marching to the same drum. It was like a big parade. I saw stars, all kind of people there just walking like robots. And God pulled me out and said, don't run with the crowd. All right, let's fast forward. I was hanging with my brother. I was in a place called Goodwater, and I fell backwards. I was drinking with some people. I went back to them. I started drinking with them and hanging with them because I was lonely. I was like, I want friends again. Living a life of Christ is so boring. You understand? So I went back. I let them back in. And I was sitting there drinking with them and having a good time. And then a random stranger, they knew him. They knew the guy. They said, hey, that dude crazy right there. And then the crazy dude come to me. Like he knew me. And started talking to me about God. And was like, you ain't put here to blend in. You put here to stand out. And he was just talking to me about so much stuff, about 35, 45 minutes. They still doing their same thing. And this dude come to me and pull me out. All right, fast forward. Years later, I'm somewhere, I fell back again. I'm hanging with the crowd. I'm doing the same thing that I used to do. A random stranger come up, drunk. I'm not drunk, he's been drinking. And he come to me, Houston. He said, what's your name? I told him. Then he talked to me about an hour. Houston, you were not made to blend in. You were made to stand out. I'm like, what does this mean? You know, I'm like, what? I'm like, Lord, you took drinking from me. You took this from me. You understand? And I felt like I was the best thing since fried ice cream. And I fell back. And I'm like, I'm still drinking. How am I supposed to be a Christian? I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing what's right. Houston, I'm balancing you out. I'm teaching you how to do things. You don't have to hang with the group. You don't have to be out there and about. Rewind. I had a stepfather, and I knew he used to always drink at his house. That's it. He didn't drink nowhere else. He didn't go to clubs or nothing like that. He drank at his house and he enjoyed his home. You know, I used to always pay attention to that, and I liked that mentality. I didn't see him doing anything wrong. I always saw him just drinking at his house. Now, I don't know what went on after I left or something like that, or how mean he would get or nothing like that, but that was something I respected. And I remember ever since I was young, I always wanted a bar. I wanted the same thing I wanted out there, I kind of wanted for myself, because I realized the deceitfulness of how much money you spend when you're out and about and you're doing things and with a group. It's like, it's different. I'm trying to explain this to you the best way I know how. You understand? Drunkenness is drunkenness. Sober is sober. Do you understand what I'm saying? God teaches you self-control. He teaches you don't have to run with the pack to enjoy your life. You understand? Jesus set the example. He sat with sinners and drunk with them. But it wasn't to be like them or to blend them. Don't tell him what he was saying to them when he sat there. That's why the Pharisees and the Sadducees could never understand. Why do you drink and eat with sinners? Why are you doing this? Why are you a wine bibber? You know, think about it when a wine bibber. Think about that. At first I thought that meant drunkard. Somebody that's talking while drinking. Like a babbler, like, there you go again. All right, now let's go back to these two men that came and visited me. Had wine on their breath. And they came to me talking about God. But all the other people in there, like, ignoring them. He didn't go to them. He came to me. Two times, somebody came to me like that. So it started teaching me things like he used to never judge a book by a cover. Wisdom is justified of his people. You understand? If you love God and you live for God, out of your belly shall flow rivers of healing waters. The word will flow out your body. It doesn't matter what you do. You understand? Now you gotta understand, you do things in line with how the word is. But out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water, no matter what situation or where you are. You're gonna spread the gospel. Do you understand? You're designed to be a light. Don't tell her how many times these people that came to me have came to other people. And I've heard stories about other people being talked to by random strangers, the people who they least expect. You understand? I done been at stores and people who were so under the influence I thought. But then it's come to find out they must have been under the influence of the Holy Spirit because they started talking to me about God. And I'm like, wow. So I started looking at things from a different perspective. But it all lines up with the word. Loners. A lot of Christians are loners. You understand? You spend a lot of time in deep thought, a lot of time in meditation. It's like you don't fit in well with the crowd. You always feel out of place in certain situations. You just like, something ain't right. But the thing is, before that, you really didn't feel out of place. You fit right in. You fit right in with the crowd. But then when you start giving your life to God, you like, this don't seem right. Then I started to realize God sent me places, just like sitting with sinners, right? And it'll be one soul that I'm meant to minister to or listen to. And it's weird, but it's great. It's strange, it's suffering, it's hard, but it's so wonderful. And I'm trying to explain this to people. Some people are trying to walk on a straight line. It's too scared to do anything. They're too scared about what people will say about them. Like I said, like the word said, wisdom is justified of his children. You understand? If you are godly, woman or male, it's going to show, no matter where you at or what you doing. I done seen people die hard on drugs talk about God. You understand? It's something about that name. You understand? And a lot of people would look at them because they're crazy. But then I started, even when I was young, I used to always talk to these people that were under the influence of something. And they would give me so much knowledge and proverbs. A lot of them wasn't even talking about God, but they were telling me life lessons. People who people overlooked. People who they called crazy. People who they took advantage of because of their addiction. And these same people would come to me and my best friend at the time and sit on the porch with us. Sometimes we used to try to run from like, here you go, man, here gonna be 2 hours. But after a while, we was like, man, if you come, we come. You understand? But we were taught to respect our elders and respect people that are older than us, no matter what they do. So knowledge is knowledge. Do you understand? People. You know, Jesus says so many cold words that a lot of Christians still ain't figured out yet. He said, be not a busybody in other men's affairs, but be, if you're going to suffer as a Christian. So if you are out and about, it's not about being gossipers. It's not about being a busybody. It's not about doing what everybody else is doing. It's about when you are out and about and you are put in a position, you are about Christ's business. Is Christ saying he wants you to just stop hanging with certain people? Yes. But he's also saying, like what Paul said, he said, be not friends with the world, right? He said, in order to get away from it, even though you have to leave this world, he said, do not keep company with them. You got to understand what keep company means. That means doing the same thing over and over again with the same people. Keeping company is like, these are your companions. You hang around this type of lifestyle constantly. Now, if you come in and out, every once in a while, you go to a party and they're there, you're not keeping company with them. You're doing what Christ wants you to do right then and there, and you in and you out. Does it make sense to you? I'm trying to break it down to you the best way you can understand it. What a lot of Christians fail is they start keeping company with them. Then you start keeping company with them, you start to be like them again. You start to backslide. I know. Been there, done it multiple times. But what the Bible says, once you mind, the devil cannot snatch you out of your his hands. You might fall back into that same excess. But each time you're going to get pulled away and you're going to get stronger and stronger. You're going to become more of a loner. Because the thing is, the flesh wars against the spirit. And a lot of us miss that camaraderie. We miss that. But then you start realizing, I don't want to be around people that sit around and gossip and talk about other people all day. I want to sit around people who are like-minded like me. Not that I'm better than them, but I'm tired of hearing this. Can we talk about Christ a little bit while I drink a beer? You know what I'm saying? It's in you. You feel like something's missing in your life. And the thing is, sometimes you're going to feel like you're not doing enough for Christ. That's how much you're going to yearn for him. You start like it's something I should be doing. What am I? Shut up. Relax. I got you. Enjoy this rest period. Because when I put you back out there, you're going to be like, I wish I was resting now. Enjoy your breaks that God gives you. Come to me, all those who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And I'm not talking about your final resting place. Living for Christ, yes, you're going to do some hard work. You're going to do some strenuous work. You're going to stumble upon demons. You're going to stumble upon warlocks. You're going to stumble upon witches. You're going to stumble upon people with all kind of illness. You're going to stumble upon lunatics. People who are out of their mind. But fear not. I have overcome the world. You are designed to be an overcomer. You're going to stop looking at people like all people are bad. You're going to see the good and the bad in people, but at the same time, it's going to change you. I'm not telling you this is going to be easy. The Bible never told you it was going to be easy. Following after righteousness and trying to explain it to you, because all these years, people have been explaining the scripture wrong, and you're surpassing them, and you're trying to tell them what you didn't realize, but they look at you because you are wicked. I've been preaching for 70 years, 40 years, and you are just new. Well, I've been studying and I'm trying to tell you some things, and I still can learn from you, but take what I'm telling you. Right? It upsets you because you're like, whoa, God told me to eat this scroll, and I'm eating it, and the more I eat it, the more I'm being enlightened to the truth. And I'm trying to bring this truth to people who I think are Christians. And then they don't understand it. Then I said, I forget it. I'm going to the Gentiles. I'm going to the strangers. I can better reach them than somebody who's stuck and hard-headed, stiff-necked. So-called Christians are the most stiff-necked people in my life. But them real Christians, those real followers of Christ, they are different. You're going to see it in your walk. Let me pause and I will continue.